According to the LA Times, current and former officers and recruits of the Torrance Police Department in Los Angeles County traded hateful comments about people of color, particularly Black people and Jewish people and members of the LGBTQ community. Here are a few examples. We had to fuck her up because we knew he wouldn't. Don't ask me where that lump on her forehead came from, though. Sometimes you have got to do things your own damn self. Always make Torrance great again. Savages. Since 2013, the officers identified by the Times have been involved in at least 7 severe use of force incidents in Torrance and Long Beach, including 3 that ended in the deaths of Black and Latino men. Jasmine Canick, culture critic, joins me now from Los Angeles. Hey, Jasmine, welcome to the show.
Hi, Reese.
So can you give us a little bit more insight into what's been happening with these police officers? Do you know how they were exposed and how it got to this point to where these cases have been dismissed?
So I think the first thing to say is people need to understand that Torrance has a notorious reputation. It was a sundown town. And so for people who don't know what that means, it meant that if you were Black or brown, when the sun went down, you needed to be out of town. And so the police department there, for the most part, still kind of operates like that. And, you know, we always hear about the LAPD and the LA Sheriff's Department, but these smaller police departments in cities like Torrance are just as bad. And so what happened was 2 Torrance police officers were accused of painting swastikas on a car that they were told to tow. And in investigating that is what led to the sort of Pandora's box of all of, you know, the other communications and text messages that have been going back and forth between members of that department.
Hold up. Let me hear if I got this right. You said they were painting swastikas on the cars that they were supposed to be towing?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And so those allegations...
And it is 2021.
And they're very bored to be doing that. Okay, and so did they find that they were in fact guilty of that, or did it just lead to this Pandora's box, as you said, that uncovered these other allegations?
So that investigation, I believe, is still ongoing. I think we can all make a reasonable assumption after hearing about and reading the text messages that have been traded, not only between the 2 officers involved in allegedly painting the swastikas, but the rest of their colleagues, that the swastikas were probably painted on the car.
Right. So what about these officers? Have they been suspended yet? What is their status on the force at this point?
So, you know, I'm not really sure what their status is. You know, I talked a lot on social media yesterday about the importance of identifying officers involved in this type of behavior. If for no other reason than they're being paid for with taxpayer dollars, which is public money, right? So you weren't doing this on your off time at home in your street clothes, you know, maybe in your own personal car. No, you're doing this in a uniform, in a car that's paid for by the people you are supposed to be looking out for. So anytime you have this type of behavior and it was done on the public's dime, I am a strong proponent of naming those officers. And this is what we talk about when we talk about changing the culture inside of police departments and sheriff's departments, right? And so I tell people all the time, some of them don't like to hear it, but if we keep telling our sons and daughters not to go into law enforcement, these are the people who go into law enforcement.
Right.
Their sons and daughters go into law enforcement. And so we keep the tradition going on and on. And so as long as that continues and there are no meaningful consequences for this type of behavior. And when I say meaningful, I mean you lose your pension, you lose your job, you can be held criminally liable and civilly liable, right? We know that people really care when you hit them in their pocketbook, right? As long as that is not the norm, I think we can expect to continue to see this type of behavior, because unions, between the unions and the laws that are in place, you know, these types of cops oftentimes get protected. And what we see happen is they will get suspended. They will sue the city for reverse discrimination. And then the taxpayers will end up paying them $100,000. for being
Exactly.
racist.
Right, right.